Okay, we are on YouTube.
Great. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Now that it's technically afternoon, welcome to the January 12th, 2026 meeting of the Whatcom County Fire Protection District 4 Board of Commissioners. We'll start with, I'll call the meeting to order and we'll start with roll call. My name is Steve Cooley. I'm a commissioner.
Tim Johnson, Commissioner.
Mark Land, Commissioner.
Jason Vanderveen, Fire Chief.
All right, great. Next is our public comment period. Chief, do we have anybody that's waiting?
No, sir.
Okay, so I will open and then close the public comment period. And that moves us into the approval of our consent agenda. All matters within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Board of Commissioners for review, are considered routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the board with no separate discussion. If a separate discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request. Our consent agenda this month includes our meeting minutes from December 15th, 2025, staff reports as usual, financial reports, voucher payroll and benefits. And this month, our direct deposit payroll was $644. Our monthly expenditure voucher was $8,682.70. And our capital voucher is $9,000. We have a capital voucher for $9,271.57. For total expenditures for January, we're at $18,598.27. All right. Give me just a moment here. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Gotcha. Okay. I will entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda and a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda before we vote? Seeing nothing, then I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, please say aye.
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 Motion carries 3-0. Okay, moving into unfinished business. First item on the list is the 1997 agreement and our plan to revisit it this year. It says update. Chief, do you have an update on that?
Mostly, my update would be that Chief Hewitt and I are batting around some days to get together. But I would, the 1997 agreement and the Northern Heights annexation, these are longer range projects. I would suggest or ask that we take them off the recurring agenda and add them as needed. Maybe a quarterly update kind of thing. Otherwise, it's going to be, there's just, especially that Northern Heights annexation, that could sit out there for years and years and years, and nobody's going to do anything with it. And yeah, so.
That sounds fine to me. Anybody else have any comments on that?
I would agree to take it off the regular agenda and put on as needed.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in agreement with that as well. Commissioner Land, any comments there? Reservations?
Nope, sounds good.
Okay, great. Okay, Chief. Yeah, both of those we can take off the unfinished business and we'll trust you to put on whenever it's needed.
Yep.
So, okay, great. So no updates other than we're still
no
on
updates on either one of those, other than Hewitt and I, Chief Hewitt and I are trying to figure out dates we can meet as early as next week. So,
okay, great. All right, that brings us to the last item on unfinished business, which is our 2026-01 resolution for our meeting dates. Let's see, pull that up. Okay, I trust everyone's had a chance to look that over. So I guess we can discuss it here. I move that we approve resolution 2026-01. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion on that? Any comments?
I have one, I guess, a question perhaps for Chief. For the in-person meetings that we've got set, first one in March, will we also have the capability of doing Zoom for those meetings?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I have at least one that I know I'll be away from, but would hopefully be able to join in by Zoom. So I just wanted to see if we were good for that.
Well, you'll have the ability to zoom into any of the in-person meetings
Okay.
if needed.
Okay, very good.
Great. All of those dates look good for me right now, but again, things could change, of course. So, yeah. Okay, any further discussion? All right, before we move to vote on it, I will read the appropriate portions. This is the Whatcom County Fire Protection District 4 Resolution 2026-01, a resolution of the Board of Fire Commissioners of Whatcom County Fire Protection District number 4 to establish the 2026 meeting dates. It continues to read, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Fire Commissioners of Whatcom County Fire Protection District number 4 conduct its regular monthly meetings for the year 2026 at 12 p.m. unless otherwise noted, and be it further resolved that the regular scheduled meetings be held virtually or at Station 12 located at 4142 Britton Loop Road, Bellingham, Washington 98226, as follows as it pertains to the Open Public Meetings Act. Any budget study sessions regarding dates, times, and locations have yet to be determined. So we got meetings on January 12th, February 12th, in-person meeting March 16th, April 13th, May 18th, in-person meeting on June 15th, July 13th, August 17th, in-person meeting on September 14th, October 12th, and then in-person meetings on both November 16th with a public hearing and 14th with a public hearing. Passed and approved this 12th day of January 2026 by the Board of Fire Commissioners of Whatcom County Fire Protection District number 4. And now I will call for a vote. All those in favor of approving resolution 2026-1, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. The resolution is approved. Okay, 2 seconds, zip back up to the agenda. Here we go. Okay, nothing, no new business. Anybody else have anything to bring up under new business that's not listed? Okay, not seeing any. So moving on to correspondence. Hopefully everybody had a chance to skim through that letter. Looks like Mr. Quinn's raising their rates. Chief, just out of curiosity, are we doing the contract thing or are we doing the pay as you go?
Pay as we go.
Yeah.
It's more economical for us.
Okay, that's what we've done in the past.
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, any agenda items for the next meeting that we don't know of? Okay, nothing seen. Oh, please be sure and drive down the hill and sign your documents. It's probably the shortest meeting in the history of the district.
Yeah, actually, maybe
Go
I
ahead.
do have something. So
Sure.
I don't know if it's maybe old business or not, but I was seeing in the packet and emails on a personnel action or changes or whatever. And why I'm bringing this up is I noticed that the chief said that he and his staff were going to present some kind of a report after they've done an analysis, whatever, to find out what the needs were and how to organize his staff, and that report was going to be presented to District 21. So this, I know I'm beginning to sound like
Nope,
a
I had the
squeaky
same thought
wheel.
after I sent the chief's report. I had the exact same thought, Commissioner Land. I know where
Well,
you're going.
yeah. Well, and it kind of goes back again to, November and December when I talked about, the labor negotiations, which I also mentioned the year before, and who knows, maybe even the year before that. I guess my perspective is that one of my roles as a commissioner is accountability and oversight. And I'm not necessarily asking that me or any of us would have a vote or a voice when it comes to how District 21 manages their staff, how they negotiate their labor agreements. But I'm beginning to feel more and more strongly that I'm not really fulfilling my role of accountability and oversight if we're not included somehow in the process of managing the resources. And I know that, we pay 25% of the budget.
Yep.
It's beginning to feel more and more like that idea of taxation without representation. So I'm beginning to feel more and more strongly and vocal about wanting to just be a part of the process. Maybe the agreement, that started on a napkin all those years ago needs to be updated. I don't know. Maybe it specifically says in there that we don't owe District 4 anything. I just want their money. I don't know. I'm being a little bit, dramatic here, but that's my point. And I really am feeling like, one, my feelings need to be reflected in the minutes, because it's going to be something that I at least come back to if I'm not sensing any kind of more inclusion in our partnership, because I don't feel like we're much of a partner if we're not even invited to the table.
Noted and well said.
That's all I got.
Go ahead. Okay. Thank you, Mark. Yep, I agree that we should be included whenever possible, at least on an advisory basis. Keep us in the know with personnel stuff, and yeah, so I certainly agree with that. Chief, any comments or questions?
No, I'll talk to the District 21 board chair, and I think what needs to happen is a meeting between the two board chairs to figure out how do we, when these personnel issues come up, how do we make sure that D4 is fairly represented at, yeah, because that's what we talk about, is that we're a partnership. But I can see how in this case, my actions didn't uphold that partnership. So for that, I apologize. That was a glaring oversight by me. And Commissioner Land, as soon as you started talking, I was like, oh, I know what I did here. So my apologies to each of you. That was not meant to do that. Obviously not meant to be done that, but I absolutely see how my actions were interpreted. So, and to be honest, so much has changed since I wrote that chief's report that I actually don't have a report for District 21 on Thursday. My directions have changed a little bit, so there won't actually be any sort of report or action taken on that item on Thursday. So that is the latest, greatest update on that position.
Yeah. So don't misunderstand me, Jason. I'm not on my soapbox. This isn't as far as any kind of a reprimand or, you should have done this, or it's more of, I'm coming at this. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about it. I just want to be sure that I can pass the straight face test when I'm talking about fulfilling my duties with accountability and oversight. And I think, if Steve and Bruce have a meeting of the minds, and whatever that kind of looks like, at least we're talking about it, and we'll go from there.
Yep.
That's good. I'd be happy to meet with Bruce and talk about that, and I'll bring back to the next meeting or whenever we have a chance to meet some action items on how we're going to try to improve the process. So
yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Thank you for bringing that up, Mark. Anything else? Okay, great. Well, then I will call the meeting adjourned, and go sign your documents, and have a great day.
Thank you. See you guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
You can each shoot me a text once you sign. I would appreciate it.
You bet.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.